Hey guys, what's up? It's Adam here, Rebel316. Hope you're all having a good day, and I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. Before this weekend started, if you've been following my channel, I did a review on the first Killjoy movie. Well, today I'm reviewing the sequel, Killjoy 2, The Deliverance from Evil. It's just like the first movie in many ways. Again, it's a low-budget movie, and I admit this movie is just like the first one. It's very bad. Okay, badly acted, badly constructed, terrible effects, terrible acting. Everything about the movie is terrible. But again, I didn't hate the movie. It's just like the first movie. It's a guilty pleasure. Now, many people, just like the first Killjoy movie, would watch Killjoy 2 and immediately bash it, saying it's a shit movie, looks so fake. You know, everything about the movie is just really terrible. And that's a good enough excuse for just hating on the movie and never want to put it on the TV screen ever again. For those people who say those sort of things, then I can understand where they're coming from. But what you need to understand is there's loads of low budget movies, low budget horror movies out there. And there's going to be somebody out there who's going to like them for guilty pleasure reasons. And Killjoy is one of those guilty pleasure movies of mine. You know, it's one of those movies where, don't get me wrong, I've got to be in the right sort of mood to watch these sort of movies because they are bad movies, and you like to take the piss out of these sort of movies. You like to sit down, watch these movies, laugh at the effects, saying how fucking bad they are. You like to take the piss out of the movie. You like to bash it while you're watching it. You like to sit down with it with a few beers with a couple of friends and just laugh and joke about how bad the movie is and how badly acting all the actors are in this movie. You know, trying to put on frightening expressions or show signs of being frightened of Killjoy the clown, and they fucking fail miserably at it. So, again, it's a guilty pleasure movie where it's one of those movies where you admit they're really bad, but you can't help but love what's going on. So bad it's good, you know. And I'm like that with the first two Killjoy movies. The third Killjoy movie, I've got it on DVD, but it's not the same. It was slightly higher budget, and we saw a different side of Killjoy. In the franchise went sort of in a different new direction with the character, and they added new characters along with Killjoy the clown. And that's another review for another day, if I review it, because I did not like the third Killjoy movie. I only like the first two. Now, which is more worse out of the two, Killjoy 1 or 2? I'd have to say possibly Killjoy 2 is more worse than the first movie. Killjoy doesn't really show up until like the last half of this movie, you know. And in the first Killjoy movie, it was played by Angel Vergers. He did not reprise his role in this movie. Trent Hager took over the role. I don't know why Angel Vergers didn't come back, but one thing I will admit about Angel Vergers, I thought he did a great job portraying the Killjoy character in the first movie, where he did the crackling laughter and like the sadistic smile and all the facial expressions. So you can easily tell straight away that when you watch Killjoy 2, you know, the acting performance of Trent Hager, he like plays Killjoy differently. He seems more laid back, but at the same time he seems more, I don't know, he's into the role. Don't get me wrong, Trent Hager does a good job, but it's not the same as Angel Vergers' role, you know. So I like Trent Hager and I like him in Killjoy, but I just think Angel Vergers did a better job portraying the character. Now, the plot to Killjoy 2 was really fairly simple. I mean, the film opens up with this guy running from the cops because he's got involved with drug dealing. We get introduced to some new characters. You get Miss Martinez, who's a cop, and her partner. What's his name now? Ray or something like that. I can't fucking remember his name, but he's a black guy and he's a cop just like Miss Martinez, Mr. Ray or something like that. And anyway, they're transporting all these youths who are criminals to this location where they'll be doing some youth offenders work, you know. And on along the way, the typical thing happens. The vehicle breaks down. They're stuck in the middle of the nowhere. One of the criminals gets shot, you know, and they're trying to find a safe location for him to try and get help. But again, they're in the middle of nowhere. Typically, cell phones don't work. And of course, they meet up with this woman who does voodoo and black magic. and from her location, Killjoy is resurrected and he causes havoc in the woods, trying to kill off all these kids one by one. All because I was trying to save one of the kids' life, basically, with all the voodoo, you know. But Killjoy's been resurrected and now he's come back. I mean, the kills in this scene are fucking ridiculous. I mean, there's a scene where one of them was in a portable toilet and Killjoy takes out his teeth, and they're like clattering teeth, like them little action figures, and he puts it in the toilet booth and he gets eaten to fucking shreds. There's a scene where Killjoy uses his power to lift this guy in the air and slams him down on the floor onto this fountain pipe, and he pumps all the blood. You know, there's a scene where he cuts the woman's throat with the skull using voodoo black magic. You know, so the killings in this movie were nothing special. You know, and many of them were done by voodoo magic and shit like that. So the kills in this movie are not creative one little bit. But again, I'm here giving all these negative feedbacks about this movie, but what people are trying to tell me is, why do you like the movie? I love it because of the bad acting. I mean, when Killjoy's doing the evil laughter, like pretending like he's having fun, and like all the kids are showing like a really bad effect of trying to be frightened of Killjoy. Oh my god, it's Killjoy! Killjoy's trying to kill us! You know, the most hilarious scene in this movie was when Killjoy was in that place with that girl, Charlotte. Charlotte's reading from the book. Lord of the Dark, help me, hear me, fear me. And Killjoy's just sitting there taking the piss, saying things like, I guess the question is, how long is this going to take? I shall have all of eternity. How about you? And she's like, fuck you. And he's like, boring, boring. That had to be a hilarious scene. There's a scene of that on YouTube, and it's got loads of views, but it was a really awkward scene. But at the same time, it was really laughable. So, a bad scene, yet at the same time, really hilarious. But I can say that about the whole entire movie. I mean, Killjoy's death in this was done by holy water. He gets holy water thrown on top of him, and the effect of it was really bad. Killjoy was just lying on the floor. His face was peeling, and again, just the way the face looked, it looked like I don't know what it was like mashed potato. The fucking mass looked like mashed potato where he was lying on the floor and he was like being melted by the fucking holy water. It just looked all mashed up and fucked up, and you're thinking, you know, what a really bad effect. And then eventually one of the survivors escapes from one of the cops and the credits roll, and that's the end of the fucking movie. So there's nothing exciting to say about this movie, Killjoy 2, The Deliverance from Evil. Again, Killjoy didn't appear till the last half of this movie. You know, bad acting all around, bad effects. You know, but again, it was one of those cheesy horror movies where I like to watch the guilty pleasure, just like the first movie. I like the soundtrack though of this movie. It is like the yeah yeah Killjoy, Killjoy 2 coming back at you. I like the soundtrack to this movie, but I must say that's the only best thing about this movie, and that's the fucking soundtrack. And I've uploaded that onto YouTube as well. Please check that out. But apart from the soundtrack, there's really nothing special about this movie. But again, it's a guilty pleasure. I've got to be in the right frame of mood to watch this sort of movie. So again, if I'm depressed or I'm having a bad day at work or something's pissed me off, if I need a movie that needs to cheer me up because of its bad nature, Killjoy 2 and the first Killjoy movie is usually one of my first options to watch, you know, to put a smile back on my face. If I want to take the piss out of a movie, Killjoy is usually one of them. But again, it was just like the first movie. I think it was on like for £1 in the charity shop. You know, just like the first Killjoy movie, it was on like £1 and in the used pre-owned bin along with some other DVDs. And I think this one was more or less the same. I think I got this from a charity shop for about £1 or £2. You know, so again, you can find this movie pretty much fucking anywhere. You know, so that's what I've got to say about this movie, everybody. Otherwise, it's nothing special. But again, I love killer clowns, so I can't help but love the nature of the Killjoy character. Like I said, I've got a tattoo of a clown on my arm there. So I love the fact that it's a killer clown. So anything that's got a killer clown in it, I'll more than likely like it. So although the Killjoy character isn't that popular, you know, still I like him up to a certain degree where I'd add something like this to my collection. So That's what I say about Killjoy 2, The Deliverance from Evil. A very shitty low-budget horror movie, but again, a guilty pleasure for certain people who like guilty pleasure low-budget movies. So please like, rate, and comment everyone in here, and I've got any questions. I don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.